Welcome back to the crossover with Joe Arlauckas, and after a very interesting episode and a change of pace with our conversation with the general managers, we're back to basics again and back to going one-on-one. And today it's a special one because we have a legend of the game, a recent legend. And when I played, we used to be called big man, but my next guest redefined the word big man, and he did it with style, he did it with grace, and at times he did it with a little bit of anger. I know one thing. I was just happy that I was retired before he came onto the scene. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast, Sofoklis Schortsanitis. My man, how are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Nice being with you.
Nice to have you, man. It's been. I just want to. First of all, of course, I want to appreciate your time, but I really meant that. Like, I'm 55, right?
Yeah.
And I've been out of this game longer than I played it. Eventually, you'll get there.
Yeah.
And, and I look back sometimes and I see some of these players. I'm like, damn man, I wish I could play against him. I would, I'd take him to the hoop. I'd, score out.
Yeah.
And then when I saw you in Barcelona in 2011, I was like, man, I am right where I need to be, retired, with headphones on my head and makeup on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I understand. I'm actually Barcelona 2011. That was a great year.
Hmm.
That was a great time. Um, but nature, man, that made me big, and I tried to take advantage of it.
Exactly, exactly. Hey, first of all, I gotta go through my typical question I have to ask all you guys
Of
here
course. Yeah.
in this time of year. Family good, everybody good with Corona, everything going all right?
Yeah. Everything great. Everything great. The kids are great. We have our rock in our family. My wife always there, supporting us and taking care of us. So we're great. Right now. I'm just like a backup singer. So so it's a nice change of pace. From,
It's not bad, is it?
yeah, it's not
These are
bad.
these have been difficult times, man. So it's not actually a bad time to be a backup singer.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. A lot of things going on. It's a difficult time for everybody. Um, with Corona. So we're just trying to take it a day at a time.
Exactly. Exactly. Let's jump in, man, because you got an interesting story. You know, a big guy like you from Greece, you don't look like the typical person from Greece,
Nope.
obviously.
Nope.
And when I first came out, I was like, hey, I mean, what's up with that name? Come on, man. He doesn't look like that's his real name. But you're originally born in Cameroon,
Yep, that's true.
but go ahead.
Yeah, that's true. I was born in Tico, Cameroon. It was my mother's town. Um, and for some reason, my father decided to take a job there as a
Hmm.
civil engineer, and she went my mother. And I guess he wanted to have some fun going in Cameroon, but he came back with a wife and a kid.
But
But
is Cameroon still a part of your life? Do you go back there? Have you? I mean, because you
uh,
left early, right?
yeah, I left like when I was months old, which wasn't advisable. And I always tell my parents, man, you guys are lucky that I didn't got something or my head got hurt or something. But you shouldn't allow like 6 months, 6 months, a year or 6 month old babies fly. It's like this is not natural. But anywho, I got pretty young in Greece, and I've been in Cameroon only one time.
One time.
Yeah, only one time. I don't keep in touch, but I don't deny that part of my life.
Right. You have a brother also that played basketball, right? Alexandros. Is he
Yeah,
younger than you or older than you?
he's younger than me. He's younger
He's
than
younger.
me.
So
He,
he
he
was he
actually
was born in he was born in Greece then.
he was born in Greece, and actually he was the
Hmm.
first to start playing. He was the first to start playing, but he wasn't. He was talented. He is talented, but he just didn't want to do the work.
is he is he is he a big boy like you?
Oh yeah, he's big. It
Yeah.
could be. But like I said, he didn't want to do that work. So
So, because I read that through our research that you just didn't really like the game. You didn't really care about it that much, and I was wondering if he was an influence, but it sounded like if he didn't want to do the work, he wasn't much of an influence either.
no, he wasn't. Seriously, when I was younger, yeah, I didn't know nothing about the game. I mean, when I started, it was literally a fluke. But over the years, you just develop a love for the game. I love how exciting it is, and how the work you put outside the games and the court translate in success in the in the competitions. And
You had it. I feel like from what I've seen as a child, you started and everything happened so quickly. You know,
yeah,
by the time you were 14, you're on the Greek national team. By the time you were 15, you were transferred to Heracles, and it was like, are kids that age in I mean, you talking from your experience, are they physically and mentally ready for things that happen so fast?
seriously, I really don't believe that I'm ready. And I know for sure I wasn't ready. I mean, mentally at least. Physically, I might be, but like like I said, not everybody's like me. So physically at least.
Right.
So it was crazy. I mean, I started playing in Kavala when I was 12. I got transferred from the kids division to the men's team when I was 13, 14.
The men's division at 13.
Yeah,
It
so
just doesn't sound. There's something that doesn't sound right there.
yeah, it's a little bit. So afterwards, I got transferred, and then they called me up for the national team, and I was playing as a starter when I was 17, I think.
The-
So
Does the this 15 years, 7 months, and 25 days? Does that mean anything to
yeah, it was it was my first game as a pro.
you?
I was
Exactly.
I was really
I
surprised, as
I
everybody.
got
Uh,
I got two questions for that. Is that record still stands today?
no, I don't think it does. I don't think
No,
it
some
does. I think someone younger actually played, which was a surprise for me. But
right.
I think yeah, I think they put a younger kid, but I really don't know what he's doing right now.
hmm
I,
Did that record? I mean, looking back on it, is that record something that means something to you? Was it important for you? Was it something that might have hurt you too?
I
In
mean, uh, it's tough to say. It's tough to say because the day that they actually told me that you're gonna play, it was the whole week they were paying special attention to me. We like work harder, and I was like, it's probably same old, same old. You gotta be focused. You're still young. You need to work. And then 2 days before the game, they actually told me that you're gonna be in the squad. I was like, okay, so I'll just stay in the corner and just clap whenever we make a basket.
right.
And game day, the coach was like, okay, so it's you, Hadisretas, Diamantidis, and Sofo. I was like, what? Like, I was like, Sofo who? Was like, yeah, get dressed, let's go.
So
So
they never warned you that, hey man, you're gonna get to start this game and give you a little time to prepare mentally.
no,
No.
no. I mean, they always tell you when you're young, like the minute you're in the squad, you always gotta be ready to play. But
Right.
you never expect when you're 15, you're actually gonna be like play.
Yeah, but I mean that you always have to be ready to play is when you're sitting on the bench and you've been practicing, you've been with the team for three
Yeah,
years.
that's true.
It's, it's not. But I mean, you're playing at Heracles too, so you're playing against teams. I mean, you're not playing second division. You're playing Panathinaikos,
Oh yeah,
Olympiacos, Adidas, PAOK. You're playing all these big teams.
yeah. I mean,
I mean,
it was really fun because my third my third my third game was no my second game actually playing was against Olympiacos when Dino Raja was playing there,
Okay.
and I remember coach putting me in, and I got scored like 3 times, and he was like, "What are you doing? Come on, you gotta be more focused." I was like, "Okay, she's Dino Raja. What you want me to do?" I was like, I don't remember how I got scored 3 times. I just can't. I mean,
Hey, like, well, when I was at the point where I was a veteran and you saw a young guy come out on the court, it was just like you start licking your chops. As Dina Rogers, like, yeah, like bring the
yeah,
young guy out.
yeah, it was really funny because when I was actually guarding the first time, I was thinking like, should I say something? Like, hey, should I say nice to meet you? Got an honor to play with against you. I was like, should I say something? So I was like, no, be professional, be professional. And by the time I knew it, he was going back to defense. I was like, okay.
And the thing about Dina that I remember, because I was with Ike in '99, and he lived down the street from me. I think he was with Panathinaikos then.
Yeah, I think, yeah,
Yeah, he was with Panathinaikos, and I just remember him being a god. He was like, I mean, he had this big house, and there's like security guards outside his house, and
yeah.
and I'm like, who is this guy? So I couldn't even imagine, at 15 going up against him.
Yeah, it was an advantage. He was going crazy. The coach was going at me. We're like, why are you letting him score on you? Why are you letting him score on you? I was like, well, I don't know what to do. I was like,
It, it's kind of like, hey, coach, have you seen what he's been doing over the last 5 years? He scores on everybody.
yeah, that's true. That's true. And
You,
I was really upset because I was thinking I really messed up. Like, okay, I was supposed to actually stop him. And I was
right.
thinking like when I went home, I was like really depressed because not because how I got scored on, because I was thinking like I underestimate myself because they have more faith in me than that I had on myself at that time. But
Right.
actually, I had I had Nikos Adivretas and Diamantidis telling me it's like, yeah, don't worry about it. He has to yell. I mean, you have to go through that. Nobody expected you not to get scored on. I mean,
It, it's all part of the process.
yeah. So you got to
Well,
get used to that. So
after that season, you had a pretty good season. After that season, you took off and went to Italy, went to Cantu.
yeah,
What? I mean, you're young. Did you bring family with you? Did you go on your own?
I
That was
w-
what, like,
I went on my own.
man. I mean,
I went on my own, and I was scared. I didn't
like,
know. I was terrified, but I had great teammates. At that time, the captain of the team was Dan Gay.
mm-hmm.
He's a great dude. He's a great dude, and
Right.
also Son Stonrook. I played with him too. And they literally took great care of me. Uh,
Right.
but the thing about that here is before the playoffs, I remember there was one day we're going to a game and called my agent. She's like, "I want to go home, man." I was like, "I can't. I just can't do it." It's like, why?
And
Somebody hurt you? Somebody upset you? It's like, no, I just want to go home.
but this is at the end of the season,
Yeah,
right before the playoffs. You said so.
yeah.
You've been there the whole year,
I've
and
been
you
the whole
just
year.
and you just had this feeling at the end of
Yeah,
the season.
yeah. It was close. I mean, basically, we lost the first round, but I just couldn't do it. I was close to the season. My agent was telling me, "You're close. I mean, you guys gonna go through 2 rounds and you're gonna come back." I said, like, "Yeah, but I can't do it. I don't
Hmm.
think I don't have the mentality to actually push through this." So I was like I want to go home. And eventually he went with tough love. He's like, "Well, you can't. You gotta
You
stay
can't.
there."
It's like I'll be your psychologist for a little bit, but at the end, it's like no, you're
Yeah,
staying.
yeah. Well, you can't go anywhere. So it was, but it was fun. It was fun. I mean, my mother visited a lot. But
Did you live with somebody? Did you
nope,
room?
I lived alone. That was actually a really
Man,
bad decision because I burned down my kitchen too.
you burnt down your kitchen.
Yeah, I burned down my kitchen too.
You know, I've heard so many stories in my years of Americans coming over to Europe and like blowing up their cars because they don't know how to drive stick shifts.
Oh,
You hear all kinds of stories, but I never heard of a Greek guy going to Italy and burning down the kitchen.
yeah, I burned down my kitchen. It was that's just, that's an embarrassing story. I don't even want to talk about
we,
it.
we, we won't get too deep into
Yeah.
that. Don't worry.
But the funny thing is, I called, like I said, I called my buddy's son, and I told him like, "Yo, son, my kitchen was burning." He says like, so he asked me like, "Is burning right now, or he put it out and it just burned?" I was like, was I mean, I put it out. So like, okay, then go back to sleep. Like, you gotta practice some more. I was like, I was like, okay. But eventually, everybody came. I mean, uh, everybody came, like fire department, and everybody.
Oh my God.
They took me to the hospital because I held too much smoke. It's like they asked me like, "Why are you staying in the room?" I was like, "Son told me to go to sleep." Like,
I mean, you obviously spoke no Italian, right?
no. Close to the middle of the season, I
Right.
understood a lot, but I had a little bit of capacity to communicate with some stuff, and I was seriously when I went there, I was thinking like, yeah, everybody speaks English. No, not in Italy.
No,
They
no,
just and some people they and I think some people were messing with me because I was speaking English and everything was cool, but but I knew they understood me, but they refused to respond to me in English.
refused it.
Yeah, so I was like, man, you guys messing with me. I mean, I'm
You,
sorry.
you know, the one thing I always said about my time in Italy is like, I went over there when I was young, and the people start talking to you, and they're talking to you in Italian. I had no idea what they were saying. My mom was Italian, but I never learned it. And it's like they start yelling at you, they start talking louder,
Yeah,
in Italian. And I'm like, no, no. I said, I can hear you perfectly. you don't need you
yeah,
don't need to turn the volume up. I just don't
that's
understand
true.
what you're saying.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that happened to me a lot. I mean, I remember it happened when I went to the supermarket,
Hmm.
and I was asking a guy for some kind of particular brand of juice that they were giving us in the court in the team, and he was telling me in the second corridor to the right, and I was like, "Where is it?" It's like the second corridor to the right. I was like, "Okay, yeah, where is it?" I was like, "Can you show me?" It was funny. Yeah, they do that. I mean, it was great. It was great playing Katu, but like I said, I wasn't just ready.
Right. So you finally get out of there and you come back, but now you're going big time. Now you
Yeah,
come back and you're going to the big boys, to the big red, to
yeah,
Olympiacos.
yeah,
This this pretty much changes everything for you now because you've been young, you've played on the national team, you've done some good jobs on the teams that you played for. So the expectations now are triple because not only are you on one of the best clubs in
yeah,
all of the continent, you're also with fans that have more expectations than even the clubs do.
yeah. That's true. That's
it,
true. I
it,
mean, this is the best way to put it. Actually, the
mm,
fans get more expectations than the club do.
yeah,
Oh, yeah. I mean, my time in Olympiacos was okay. It was great. I mean, I had the opportunity to meet one of my closest colleagues and one of my closest friends also, Kostas Adikristos. He was
mm-hmm.
my trainer, and he was my trainer for all the years after that. We had a great understanding, and actually, when they told me that I would go to Olympiacos, I didn't believe it because, truth be told, I started playing pro when I was 15. I mean, I was already shocked that I met that I've been in a team that I've seen play in the television. But the players that I was there with, they weren't yet the guys that everybody knows. I mean, Nikos and Dimitris and
Mm,
Lazaros, Papadopoulos were still, still on the first steps.
right.
So, and still all the big name players that I've seen and I knew, I played, I only played them with them once, and all the other times I've seen them from the stands.
Mm,
So the minute I went to Olympiacos, I was really shocked. Like they asked for me, and I was really impressed because they actually told me that Coach Kazlauskas, he specifically asked like how to join the team. So it was a little bit confusing because the minute I joined, he was on my case. I mean, he
that,
was on my case. I was working really hard in the training, dunking everything, never letting up. But still, he was on my case. I mean, actually, the minute I was in Olympiacos, I wasn't doing really well at the start. But after we had a long conversation with Coach Kozlauskas
mm,
around December, and after that, I started just going through it. It was getting easier and playing better, and we eventually end up playing against Maccabi for a chance to go to the Final Four. It was a pretty exciting season. I mean,
that was your first season. That was in the research that I've done and everything that I've looked at. That was the first time there was a mention of your weight being an issue. It seemed like Kozlauskas wanted you to be trimmed down a little bit, to be a little bit. Was that something that you felt or you came across throughout the early part
no,
of your career, or just was this the first time?
that was the first time. That was the
Mm.
first time.
And did you think that your weight was not an issue? Did you think that it was you were fine? I mean, because
I mean,
whenever I was overweight, I was like, yeah, I'm fine as long as I could score. It's all that mattered.
yeah, sure. I mean, they asked me one time in when I was in Cancun, like if I feel comfortable with the weight. I said like as long as I'm faster than the other guys, I'm good.
Right.
I mean, at that time I was young and I was fast, so I was like, okay. But in Olympiacos, it was a big issue with Kazlauskas. He wanted me to get trimmed down like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But during the season, he he saw how at one time I got a lot I got down a lot. I lost like 15, 20 kilos,
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't just do it. I couldn't I couldn't play the way I'm used to. I didn't have no strength, no energy. So they decided with Costas like they would keep my weight under control in a like, uh, a specific way. But Coach Kazlauskas was a little bit weird in some stuff. I remember one day I was late for practice or whatever, and he made me run the stairs up and down. So I was like, "This is good for you. This is good for your legs, and you can lose weight." I was like, "All right, I'll run the stairs. I don't mind." So, so when they started practicing, he told me like, "Yeah, come down. We don't have enough players." So I started dunking and having a great practice. And this is when my nightmare started. After that, he is like, "Man, those stairs are good for you. You'll do it every day." I was like, "Man, this is amazing." Every day I had to run the stairs up and down. Every
But
day. After that day, every day I was running the stairs.
so your warm up every day was running the
Yeah,
stairs
yeah, I
before.
was running the stairs every day.
Did he make you? Did he make you do it before the games too?
Actually, no. Actually, before the games, he made me run the bike
Oh, run the
the
bike.
day
Okay,
before
get
the
warmed
day.
up.
Yeah, because we played against Maccabi the very first time, Actually, that was the game that I started, being more comfortable in EuroLeague. So the very first time, he actually still was December, I think. We played against Maccabi, and I said I don't feel well, doing the shoot around. So I want to ride the bike. So I rode the bike for like 45 minutes, like really hard, to get the anxiety off and everything. And he was really upset. And Costa's trainer told him, "Don't worry about it. He'll be okay. He'll be great." And he came and whispered in my ear, "You better play great today, man, because we're both gonna get fired." Like, so after I play that game, someone like, "Yeah, you gotta ride the bike." He got that little superstition or whatever.
Right.
But it was fun. It was a fun year for me because I realized um I'm more skilled than I initially thought, and playing with tougher opponents is a little bit more fun, than
Right.
just blowing through everybody.
Well, you had your career high when you were at Olympiacos was like 24 points in a game. That was early on, and uh, and when we talked about the fan expectations, the club expectations, all that other stuff. Is having a game like that beneficial to you? I mean, it obviously helps you, but it again, you start to put more expectations in people's mind
Yeah.
that because people think that you score 24, you can do it every game, and it just isn't like that.
Not EuroLeague at least. Not
No,
EuroLeague at least.
yeah,
Well, that game. Let me remember. That was a Zalgiris game. I guess Zalgiris.
yeah, as I get this exactly.
Yeah. So in that game, um,
You got such a good memory, man.
uh,
Was
I remember specific things because when something bad happened before, I will remember it
well,
because
we always remember the bad stuff,
every time.
unfortunately.
I remember that week I did something. I don't remember what. And Coach Arlauckas was really upset with me. And he was okay. Playing against Adidas is a really important game. And so you better play well. You gotta run. You gotta play defense. And I remember that at that time, the big man was Bert, and he told me that guy doesn't play defense, so I expect you to dunk everything. I was like, what? Oh, that can happen in EuroLeague. I can
Right.
dunk everything, but like you gotta try dunk everything. I was like, okay. So I went there in the mentality like I gotta get myself out of the doghouse, man. It's like I gotta go, gotta try. I gotta try really hard. So and everything went well. I mean, I always said that because I was the youngest, I had a lot of great teammates that they really took care of me. So in that
Hmm.
game, I remember everybody be like, "Okay, let's get something in great positions. Come on!" So like, let's do this. So I was like, "Okay," and it was great. I mean, it was fun.
And that's I think that's about the time you developed this nickname, Baby Shaq, something like that, for
Yeah,
what
they
they
start
call you.
calling me. Yeah, EuroLeague. They start calling me that EuroLeague. I mean,
Yeah.
the first time, actually, the first time they called me that, I think it was an American that I met in when I was in a tournament in Mannheim when I was
Hmm.
16, I think. And by that time when I was 16, I was playing the national team with the Greek national team with the yeah under 16. So by the time, I mean, I was always practicing with the men's team since 13 until I was 16. I was always playing with the men's team. So my opponents was Lazarus Papadopoulos, and every day for like 2 years,
Right.
I never practiced with anybody else. So I went there, and everybody said it's an important tournament, so you gotta go hard, so you gotta play hard, so everybody be focused. And my very first game, I mean, I started scoring easily, And the second game, I started to start dunking everything.
Mm.
Every time I was under there, I would start dunking, dunking. And then they just start calling me Baby Shaq. But that,
Did you like that? Did you accept that?
I mean, it was fun. I mean, of course, it was fun, and of course, it's an honor, to get compared to with for a future Hall of Famer.
Right.
But I'm not shocked. I mean, the guy was what 7'2". He's
Yeah.
a I played against him once. He's a beast.
Right.
He's a beast. I mean, everybody thinking like, especially when I played against him when I was in Olympiacos, he was like, yeah. And I remember Josh Childers. He was messing with me because the minute I got the ball in the post, he passed me the ball in the post and he'd be like, "Yeah, Sofo, show him who's the baby now." I was like, "Oh man, don't say that." I was like, "Don't say that." I was so nervous. He said like, and then I heard Sack behind me saying like, "Yeah, show me." I was like, "What? No, no, no. No, no. I want none of this."
Yeah, you don't want to make Shaq mad
Nah,
either. That's for
no,
sure.
I mean, but he was a great guy. I remember like after the game, he found me in the parking lot and he talked to me for like 30 minutes, gave me a lot of advice,
Hmm.
a lot of encouragement. And he said like, I mean, he was telling me about how to conduct myself. I mean, not everybody will like you. I mean, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And it was
Yeah.
great.
That's a good guy to get advice from, man. Let me tell you.
He's a great guy. Actually, I
Yeah.
was really surprised. Actually, before the game, I was really nervous, and I was thinking like because everybody when before I went to the draft, everybody was telling me you need to drop the nickname Baby Sack. Sack is going to be pissed. So I had that mentality like, so I had that mentality that everybody Sack is pissed at me. So you probably gonna kill me or something. So I was like, okay, but
But I mean, you just can't drop a nickname. I
yeah,
mean, it's not like, hey, Shaquille, I decided to drop the nickname. Don't be mad at me. You can't do
yeah.
that.
I mean, no, you can't really do that. I mean, I was
Yeah.
trying in every interview. I was trying to say like, I mean, it's an honor being with SAG, but I'm my own guy. I want to do my
Right.
own thing. But no, that nickname never dropped. I mean, I remember after the draft, I went to Camp 2 and they had like T-shirts saying "Baby Shaq." I was like, oh, come on,
You
man.
can't. You can't escape it. There's no way.
But like I said, when we played against Cleveland and Shaq was there, I remember tying my shoes. And suddenly I heard a voice like screaming, like really loud from the corridor, like, "Where's my baby? Where's my baby?" I was like, "What?" I was like, "No, that can't happen. No, that's not possible." And then Sa came in and be like, "Hey, there you are, little fella." I was like, "Little,
Little fella.
little? What do you mean, little?" I mean,
That's too funny. He's great, man.
yeah,
Hey, you guys get in Olympiacos. You guys get to the final. Well, to the final four in '09, 2010,
yeah,
and then also in well, 8 and 9, and then 9 and 10, I think.
yeah. I think it was
And
Berlin and Paris.
yeah, you lost in the semis the first one, and then you lost to Barcelona in the final, the 18
Yeah.
point loss. What I mean, first of all, I want to know what it was like as a younger guy. But you've got experience now. The difference between your first trip to the Final Four and your second trip to the Final Four. Do you remember any like having more experience, being more comfortable the second time?
Um, Not really. I mean, in my head, it was. I mean, it was both exciting and scary at the same time. I
Mm,
mean, uh, it's great that you're like one of the top four teams in EuroLeague. Like
right.
especially the second time when you're like the top four in the second time in a row. But the second time you feel like okay, this is our second time in a row. We better do something.
Right. How,
And
how difficult is that to come out with that 18 point loss? That it makes it just that much harder to get to that final game. And I've been
Yeah.
there. I know the feeling.
I mean, Barcelona was a beast of a
Yeah, they
team.
were a great team.
Yeah, they were a beast of a team. I mean, and Navarro, he was doing some crazy stuff in the court. I was like, come on, man. Like, come on, I was like, be serious. He was shooting threes like it's a playground. I was like, everybody were like really down. I mean, but it was tough loss. It was a really tough loss, and but I mean, we lost 18. Everybody were really depressed. But I have a have a reputation of being like a little bit kind of making jokes in the locker room. I was like, at least we didn't lose 40. There are teams that lost 40 in the finals, so at least we didn't lose 40. So,
Right.
but it was tough. It was tough and upsetting, and the worst part was, like I said, the fans.
Right.
Like when we left, they were yelling, saying that we didn't try enough, we didn't fight enough in the court. You know,
And you know it's interesting because even though you know what you've done,
yeah,
and and even when you hear it, and it's hard to ignore it. It's hard to just say because in all reality you're playing in a way you're playing for your team, but you play for them also. So it's so hard to ignore those comments, man. Sometimes, and nobody knows what it does to us
yeah,
mentally.
that's true. I mean, that's true. It does messing you up afterwards. Like it's making it more difficult to interact outside with people and everything. I mean,
Right.
when you
I
do,
couldn't I couldn't play today, for example, with the social media thing.
no, it's crazy.
You know,
I mean, I was actually I went through that turn that happened.
mm,
Like because actually when they asked me to like how's like playing basketball those years, I was like the most crazy things that happened to me that happened to me was when they changed the shot clock because I went through that and the time I was
right,
when I started playing we still had like 20 minutes 30 seconds
right,
like okay so that changed and then the whole social media changed. I mean,
yeah,
I remember my first year in Olympiacos. If I wanted to know something, I went downstairs. I went down to my apartment, went to the little kiosk across the street, and got a newspaper.
right. And if you didn't want to go get a newspaper, you just
Yeah,
didn't go get it.
he didn't just home, but
No one brought it to you and said,
yeah.
"Hey, look at this."
After 6 years, boom, 7 years, something like that. Everything changed. Everything is like right out of the open. And
Right.
then some I don't know, some smartass in a news show like, yeah, let's put comments
Yeah, exactly.
under the whole thing on the article. And now you don't want to read the comments, but you still read them, and it's like it's messing you up.
Yeah. From after the 5 years at Olympiacos, you head over to another major powerhouse in Tel Aviv, and you actually have a great season there. It's almost like a
Yeah,
breakout season. 12 points a game, 4 rebounds. You got an assist. I mean, you're one of the most historic teams, and you go back to the Final Four with that thing. It's your third
yeah,
straight year
yeah. I mean,
in the Final. Are you getting used to going to the Final Four now? Is it because when I talk to kids, it's always like, or even players, I'm like, enjoy every Final Four because you never know when you're going back. You know?
that's true. That is true. I mean, actually, my year in Maccabi, I wanted to play in Maccabi since I was 15 years old, and
Really?
yeah, and Heracles took me when they were playing in EuroLeague and not EuroLeague then, but it wasn't named EuroLeague then I think. So they were playing Europe, and they took me in the trip with them. Basically, I wasn't playing; I was just carrying stuff. I I was,
Right.
but I was stunned. It was it was a great experience. The fans, the way they interact with the crowd, the
It's
players.
amazing, isn't it?
It was great. I mean, it wasn't it was unlike anything I ever seen in at least Greece. So so I was thinking like I was asking my agents like, what do I have to do to play Maccabi? So like if they want you, they will call you. So like all right, but when they asked me to play, I was really excited and I was
Mm.
ready to say yes.
Man,
Um,
but that's gonna be your second time out of your home country.
yeah,
The first time, as you said, didn't it didn't go bad, but it didn't go great. I mean, I think you're like any typical foreigner that goes to another country and they just
yeah.
get to the point where I'm like, I need to be home. I'm homesick, whatever. Where even though you love Maccabi, you love the fans, you loved everything about the program because you saw it in person. Was there that fear of being away from home, being in another country?
Not really at that time. Not really at
Yeah,
that
yeah,
time. I mean,
because Tel Aviv is beautiful. That's why. I mean,
actually,
if anybody from Cantu is listening to this, I'm
yeah,
sorry, but those
yeah.
two cities can't compare.
No, they can't. They can't seriously. But actually, to tell you the truth, I went there with my trainer Costas. We went there together
Mm-hmm.
the first time.
Okay.
So he stayed with me for like a month. Uh, to get things up to speed, like what I need about practicing, man, mostly. But he helped me to navigate a lot of stuff also. Um, but it was different than Cantu. I mean, basically, when I went to Cantu, I was still a kid. I mean,
Right.
but when I went to Maccabi, it was different. I mean, I played a lot, I traveled a lot, and I was around great guys a lot, so I knew how to conduct myself in a serious way, in a serious program. So
Yeah, and plus at this point you're a little bit more mature too. It wasn't
yeah,
like 6 years ago in Italy.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, I actually it was just it's like you said, it's a great program too. I mean,
Right.
the way they help you and the way they support you. I made some great friends, especially. I mean, even my wife, she just loves it there. She wants to go back there. So like,
She wants to
well,
move back.
yeah, well, you can. I retired. I was like,
We can, but it'll be a different life, that's for
yeah,
sure.
but
It,
but it's great.
with them you go to your third straight Final Four,
So straight.
and and this time what we talked about before. This one's in Barcelona, I think, right?
Yeah, that was in
And
Barcelona,
and you
and
lost that one to Panathinaikos. How I mean, I'm just looking at you shaking your head and go, man, you don't even have to say anything.
well, I mean, I was. If you ask me, even now, I was so so sure that we're gonna win this. I was so sure that we're gonna win this. I started having doubts that things might go bad when because we had the Holocaust Day in Tel Aviv in Israel, and we
Right,
had to change the time. We played a little bit earlier,
right. I remember that. Yeah.
so we canceled morning practice. Usually, we get to move. We usually at that time as a team we were doing a lot of touch ups during morning practice. Everybody have putting their opinions in how you want to do this done, and everybody like a mini meeting.
Right.
So so I was like, okay, we're gonna be okay. There's no worries. And then I was in the I was in the elevator and I heard Diamantis is in the court shooting. I was like, that guy's out for blood. That guy's coming for us, man. Oh,
And
he's not
of
bad.
course, you know him very well.
I know. I was like, oh my god, that guy is coming for blood. And I remember, yes, and I remember everybody said, like, don't worry, we're gonna stop him. I was like, yeah, okay. What are you gonna stop?
Yeah,
So,
it's go ahead.
yeah, this is when I started having I started having doubts. But but I was sure, 100% we're gonna get it. I was, I was sure. I was always thinking
Yeah,
like,
because you guys dominated Real Madrid in the first game. I mean,
yeah, I
I mean,
mean,
it was
we're playing great. We're playing great. Even though Real Madrid had a lot of potential at the time, they weren't the team that they are now.
no, they were still young at that
Yeah,
point. That was
yeah. I
yeah,
mean, but yeah, but we had a great game. I mean, we had a great squad. I mean, we're like we're strong in every position, basically.
yeah. No, you guys had a great team, but isn't it crazy in this game how I you know we always talk about these emotional roller coasters
Yeah,
and the mental part of the game and how you could win a semifinal game on Thursday night, for example, or Friday night, and be elated and be in like the top of your life, and then all of a sudden you come out on Sunday
yeah,
and one game feels like you've lost your whole season, you destroyed the whole season. It, and I think the, that's what determines whether players are good players, great players,
yeah,
or never make it. Because I played with people that were way better than I've ever played, jumped better, quicker, shot better, but they never made it because it was more of a mental thing. And the fact that you can be up here one day and then the next day be down here, like you said, you got fans telling you that you didn't try hard enough, but they weren't there telling you the night before
yeah,
that you guys are the best. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's just it's so difficult, and losing that game again is your third time in a row.
yeah.
And
It was tough. I mean, I was really upset. I mean, it was. I mean, that game, especially that game, was, man, it was really bad because that season, I mean, I was there. I was one of the main guys that they were supposed
right,
to. I mean, it was it's completely different situation for me. I was like, I mean, I helped the team to get there, and I was thinking like, we're gonna take it all the way. But it was tough. I mean, sometimes after you lose a game like that, especially after a win like that against Madrid, we're thinking like, man, what was the season all about? But you got to bounce back fast because we had to go back to Tel Aviv
mm.
and win the championship. But it was, yeah, it was upsetting. Um, man,
Your second
man,
year.
you know something? I this conversation started like getting to me right now.
Oh, don't worry, it's gonna get good. Don't worry.
No, I'm just saying
You,
like because
you
I was really confident we're gonna get this in 2011. Man, I mean,
hey, don't worry. You know what's coming up. Everybody knows what's coming up. The good part's coming.
I remember this season like yesterday. Man, we dominated the first round.
Yeah.
We finished with 9-10. I mean, after a loss by like almost 30 points from in where were we? I guess Tau then, yeah, Tau Ceramica then. Uh, man, man, you messing with me right now. Okay, okay, let's go.
Well, I'm gonna mess you up now more because the next year you all don't even you get to the quarters and that's it, and then you take off and you go back home to Panathinaikos. How dare you? I mean,
What? Like, man,
how
at least I had a in between. Other people
right?
just jump teams like
Yeah,
that.
well, yeah. I mean, yeah, you took a breather before, but you didn't go all Spanulis on them, you know.
Oh man, you go there. You went there. Okay. Well, yeah, I had an in between, and at that time, I decided to stay back home in Greece because actually it was a family thing. I think. I mean,
Right.
my wife was pregnant in our second child, my baby girl, and well, we decided to take a breather from traveling and stay home.
Hmm. So the season, I mean, I don't want to get into the fans and everything else. I can imagine what that must have been for you going from the red jersey to the green jersey and everything else. But what you told me earlier is that your wife loved Tel Aviv, and
Yeah,
then after Panathinaikos, the one that I was going to mention was how hard it is to win back-to-back titles in the EuroLeague, and you went from Maccabi where Panathinaikos beat you, and you went to Panathinaikos who,
man.
who
Nobody ever made that association. Nobody.
yeah. Well, hey, you know what? That's why. Hey, Sofo. That's why I got this job, man. This
Oh
is
man.
my job to do that. Like I was thinking, like, what was he thinking? Not only did he go to the other team in Greece,
They
he went
even
to the team that just won the Final Four. That he's
yeah,
looking for a repeat. That's
they
gonna be a
even
tough one.
they even beat us in the semis in
Right.
the
Exactly.
playoffs. They even whooped us in the playoffs actually.
But after that, you go back to Maccabi. Was that based on your wife? Because you mentioned to me earlier that your wife loved Tel Aviv, and
Yeah, actually, I went back to Maccabi because no, actually, no, actually, that was because of me. I mean, I wanted to go back for my wife. Okay, I did one for you, now just one for me. I
now
was
you
like,
got
I'm
one for
going
me.
to go back. It's like she was like, I don't care, let's go. I was like, all right. I mean, I love it. It's like okay. So we went back to Tel Aviv with both our kids, and it was really great. It was
You
really
you
so
got to
really
you got to play there with David Blatt, who he was my first guest on the crossover, and I actually was at Olympiacos to do the interview with him, and when he was coaching there, and I watched him coach before he did the interview. I did the interview, and like I told you before, I'm like, every now and then I see a player, and I'm like, man, I wish I could play again.
yeah.
And I looked at Coach Blatt, and I'm like, Coach, you're the first coach has ever made me think that I miss playing this game. I said because the way you handled your players, the way you coach, and of course it was just one day.
Yeah.
I didn't see him make anybody run the stairs, so to speak, or jump on the bike. But I just can't. I felt like playing with him. It must have been just a comfortable situation for you because it seemed like he understood you as a player.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, from the first day we had some sort of a great communication, and he was a great guy. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
great guy, great coach. He always, he always trying to make you understand, no, without yelling, but
Right.
I mean, try to make you understand what you need to do and how you need to do it. I mean, he will explain everything to you, and he was really understanding. I mean, especially that my third year Maccabi, uh, I developed a little bit of a little sleeping disorder, and like I couldn't really get get sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But he was always understanding. So like I remember calling one time and trying to meet to get like I was like, can I skip morning practice right before a game because I didn't get no sleep. I need to get some sleep because I won't be able to play. And I remember saying me like, so go to sleep, man, and then come back, come earlier, and you're gonna watch the whole video. You gotta watch the whole video, and you gotta get your shots up and everything. I was like, all right, coach. And I remember being there 5 hours earlier, watching the video, getting my shots up with
Mm-hmm.
trainer Kowalski, and then I had a great game. I mean, he was so understanding, and he was always there if you needed a question
Mm-hmm.
or to help you through something. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember everything. I remember every time when I wasn't feeling right in practice. He was because during practice I always like make jokes and everything sometimes, and when I wasn't you know my usual self, he was always asking me like, "How you doing? How are you?" And every time a family member was in the court, every time the first thing he did, he was always greet the family member, asking
Right.
questions, how you like your life in Tel Aviv, how's everything. He was a great guy, a really stand
Yeah.
up guy.
Yeah. I love talking to him. I love meeting him and everything. And he he took you back to your fourth Final Four. See
Yeah,
now you can't shake your head and be upset with me because we're gonna talk about the good stuff now. You 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 guys play the first game, which was a crazy game because you guys had no chance to win that game against Jessica, none
no,
whatsoever.
not just.
You're down by 15 in the third quarter.
Actually, we're so lucky that year when Blue came back during
Mm-hmm.
December. We're so lucky we needed that guy back. I mean, but yeah, there was no chance uh winning that game. Um, Tesca was, you know, they were dominating every
Yeah,
position in the court.
they
So
they were the squad. I mean, they were just and
yeah,
they dominated you through the first three quarters of that game.
yeah. I mean, it was tough. I mean, thinking like usually when we're playing, we had like when you're playing against another team, usually you have an advantage somewhere.
Right.
We had an advantage nowhere, even
No.
in the in the perimeter. They were like, you know, they were great. At the post, I mean, they had the one player. I mean, like, oh my god, I just didn't like playing against him. Sasa Khan,
Yeah, that's a gun. Yeah.
that guy is just like nonstop. He was just going nonstop. I'm like, come on, man, come on, man, just relax a little bit. He'll be like going up, getting up hero, coming back down, going up again. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, he was an active player, man. He was all over the place.
All over the place. I was, oh my god! And they were thinking like they were shooting, so like he was up there doing the pick and roll. Suddenly, I feel someone in my back. I was like, man, what are you doing down here? I was like thinking like, what are you doing right here? Like, go up there, go. It's like, come on, man, let me get that rebound. But yeah, they were dominant everywhere. I mean, they had Milos, man, everybody. I don't have to say anything about Milos. That guy is out of this world. But but yeah, actually, I was really surprised. I watched that video like a million times. I mean, the one guy that I never expected ever in my life to actually make a mistake, Victor Kriapa, he
Yeah.
actually he actually made one.
I still don't. I still under. I can still remember seeing that play where it looked like he just handed the ball
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
It was so weird.
I seriously, I have immense respect for him because he's a guy doing things by the numbers. Like he was really focused. I mean, he will
Right.
pass the pass. He will do the pass when he needed. Take
He's
the
just
pass.
fun. He's fundamentally sound. He never
Yeah.
made mistakes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I was really surprised. I was like, we're like literally lucky. And I remember watching somebody made a video about when Victor Kriapa made the mistake, and then
Mm.
suddenly you see a big finger, like the finger of God, pushing the ball out of his hands. And I was like, well, that's it. There it is. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no other explanation for me. I mean, like there it is.
Oh, social media.
Yeah,
That gets you every time, man.
every time.
You guys come back from 15 down, win that game, and then I think was that I can't remember if it was the first game or the second game of the Final Four. I think it was the first game,
The
right?
first game, yeah, the first
Yeah.
game.
So then you guys got to watch Real Madrid just go out and blow out Barcelona. I
That's
mean, they just crushed Barcelona, and
they
I'm
messed
thinking to
them
myself,
up. They
I'm
messed
thinking to
them up.
myself, I'm like, all right, as I'm doing this podcast and I'm doing the research and I'm writing it up, I'm like, my man's been to three straight Final Fours. This is number four. He basically shouldn't have been in the final that night, anyways, because they should have been beat by Cheska. But like you said, the hand of God came down and helped
Yeah.
you guys out. How many times during that weekend of Final Four did you think to yourself like, "Damn, man, I can't lose another one. I can't. I can't leave here again with a loss."
Actually, seriously, um, I never thought about that. I never thought, I never had a thought like that. I mean,
Really?
yeah, about winning, Real Madrid, I was, you know, there's always situations in the game that you can't control. So you can't be 100% sure that you're gonna win.
Mm.
But I remember because Borussia was playing with Real Madrid at the time. I dropped Real Madrid at the time, and I asked him like because they had practice earlier than us. I asked him like, "How was it? You guys did a lot of stuff." He's like, "No, man, we're just chilling." Man, when the guys heard that, man, they were on fire. They were like, "Man, we're gonna mess them up." They were like really pissed because we went at it the day before in practice really hard, and they were just chilling. Actually, we lost two times. We lost two times in against Real during the season,
During the season.
and I remember I had a teammate, uh, Ryan Stack, when I was in Olympiacos and Aris. He told me like usually when two teams are close, strength wise, you can't lose three games
Mm.
against them. You're gonna win one. Well, I guess he was right. We won one,
You
the
want,
important one.
and you won the important one. That was a
Yeah.
big one. How did it feel, man, to finally get it? Like I know you're telling me that you didn't think about losing it,
I
but
mean,
once you won it, it had to be an amazing feeling to finally get it, considering it was your fourth try.
actually, I wanna correct that. I was thinking like, I was really thinking like, yeah, there's no way we're gonna lose this. There's no way we're gonna lose this during the whole thing. We want to win to the final. Even there wasn't. I was thinking like, but actually, in my mind, in my mind, it was like, basically, it's like I wouldn't know what we're gonna do if I lose this. We'll lose this. Like I was thinking like, well, I think like the world would end after four Final Fours, no
Yeah,
wins. I would be like, man. But when we got it, I mean, there were smiles and uh and
I,
laughing everywhere.
I saw the picture of you. I was just looking at before we started. You had
Yeah,
your kid with you, didn't you?
yeah, I had my kid with me,
Yeah.
and well, he was a trooper. I was like, okay, he was about to cry and be like, come on, take a picture with daddy. Like, look at daddy. But it, I mean, it really sunk in that we actually won when we got ready to leave, and we had to take the pictures with a trophy in our hands. And and I was like, well, this is it. I mean,
Got it.
we
It,
were we were fighting for years for this, but this is it.
isn't it a weird feeling though that like I'll explain that the year that we won it when it was all over with it was like an empty feeling like I mean obviously not as sad as when you lost it but it's an empty feeling like man it's over. I mean what
Yeah,
else, I mean
yeah,
all this year 9 months sweating bleeding practicing traveling getting yelled at whistles blowing running stairs doing sprints and everything else and all of a sudden it's like boom you
yeah. You think,
celebrate but then it's over.
yeah, you're thinking like you want a little bit more,
Yeah.
right? But that's it. I mean, yeah, yeah. You're right. There's that empty feeling. But I mean, you got that feeling of fulfillment also. That I'll be
Right.
fighting to get to the top, and I got there. I mean, at that time, I never thought about how I played or how did I do. Actually, actually, usually I check the stats
Mm-hmm.
uh, a day or two before the game, after the game, but or I never check the stats when we finish the game. But
Right.
I really don't know the stats. The only thing that I know is because of Tyrese because he played such a great game. I know he had a great game. I know he was great, but I really don't know what everybody else did
Well,
or
you
how
guys,
I
you
did.
guys scored. You guys scored 25 points in 5 minute overtime period in that game, and
Yeah,
And 2 nights before, you scored 23 in the fourth quarter against Jessica. So you guys stepped it up when you needed to.
I mean,
That was the key.
seriously, in that team, this is what that was our go-to. I mean, when we have to go hard, we go. I mean, we will never stop fighting, and actually, we did that in also in the playoffs against Milano. But it was the first game that we won like that. I mean,
Hmm.
we came back in 45 minutes, 45 seconds or something like that from a 9 point deficit to go for
Right.
the overtime.
I remember that, yeah.
I mean, everybody really fight hard. I mean, and I gotta give that to Coach Blatt. He always made the team fight hard. He made us a unit, and everybody had the same mindset.
He always seemed like one of those coaches that just was able to like relax everything, no matter what the situation was. I mean,
Yeah.
he'd do his yelling every now and then, but then all of a sudden, in the last 30 seconds, he'd be like, "All right, everybody, calm down. Let's do this. Let's do that."
I mean, he's the first coach that I ever. I mean, usually a lot of coaches trying to do that reverse psychology thing, like instead
Right.
of when you mess around in practice, instead of making you run, you just man, you got to stop. You don't deserve to practice here, so go home.
Right.
They make you go home, and okay, let's be real. Some coaches, you're like, okay, let's go home. Like I don't care, but
I've been kicked out of a few practices in my life.
but with Blatt, you feel really bad. I mean, I
Right.
remember every time he sent us home, everybody was staying, doing extra shots, or trying to help. I remember Devin Smith. He was really active about trying to help people. Get the plays like down to the to practice plays a lot
Right.
and get them to be you know uh, not to think about being instinct. So
Mm.
we had a. I mean, I'm just. I'm thinking like I'm just like you had a great group of guys and every team
Isn't
that I
it
played.
isn't it interesting how like a lot of winning titles because we play with teams and it's a team thing. You you have to be in the right place at the right time, and
Yeah.
you were lucky to be in the right place. You've been at the right place at the right time a couple times. Didn't get the chance to win that title, but the interesting thing throughout the interview that you always talk about is great teammates, great teammates. Those are that's the most important thing I think that
Yeah.
you've gotten out of basketball,
I
other
mean,
than championships, is your teammates and your friendships.
that's true. That's true. I mean, uh, especially in Tel Aviv Maccabi. Uh, I remember it's well, yeah, we had a great environment both in the
Hmm.
locker room and the court. I mean, I remember people fighting or going crazy in the court. And once we're in the locker room, we'll be laughing and discussing. It
Right.
was like, you remember how he was yelling? And we start laughing and we're like,
But
you
that's
got
when you know that's when you know you have a good team because there's
yeah,
enough self-respect within everybody else that you can actually get upset with a teammate and then laugh it off later and have a
yeah,
beer, have a wine or
yeah.
something, you know.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I had a great teammates in the other teams too, especially like one of your guests, Costas Papanikolaou.
And Costas.
He was my teammate when he was young. He was like what 16,
Right.
17 at the time. I mean, my wife is here. She probably remembers. I called her. And he told me we were staying in the same room, and he told me like, "Man, you're like such a mama's boy. You always call your wife before you go to bed." I said like, "Man, you better run because I'm about to." And I remember he was yelling. He'd be like, "Irene, save me! He's hitting me!"
Yeah,
All time
yeah.
services. He's like, I mean, he was funny.
Hey, look, we had to move. I think we had to change his interview date because his wife had a
Ah,
a,
yeah,
a pediatrician appointment or something. Yeah, so
yeah,
so
yeah.
he He's the one making the phone call at night now to say goodnight to his wife and
Of
kids.
course. I mean, he was young still.
Of
He
course.
don't know.
Uh,
He don't know if that we don't call what we're gonna
we
happen afterwards.
those young those young punks. Once we get older, we just laugh at them, man. That's all.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey,
They don't know what will happen. I mean, they're thinking like getting married is about partnership. No, it's not. You're doing what you're told.
exactly, exactly. And
I
exactly.
mean, I
I
remember.
got. We say. I always have the last word in the household. It's yes,
No,
yes, yes, honey. Those are the last words.
yeah, usually say the same thing in the locker room. It's like I'm the man in the house.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of
This
course.
is this is what happens. He's like, I
It
have
is
the last word. Yeah. And I remember Devin Smith told me, yeah, when the last word is like, okay, baby.
okay,
Okay.
baby. Exactly, exactly.
He's like, yeah. I was like, you're right.
Hey, after that, you win the championship and you leave. You go back to you went to Serbia for a little bit in PAOK and just to finish this up, you go down to an injury. That's from what I see, the first major injury you had. You ruptured your Achilles tendon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you're coming to the end of your career more or less.
I mean,
You've achieved everything. Then bam, this happens.
I wanted to try to play a little bit more after that, but yeah, it didn't happen. I mean, I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling the same the desire to get the work done,
Right.
and I mean, it was just tough after an Achilles injury, especially when you are older. I mean, but
I mean, the one thing in your case, the one thing that helped you throughout your career was your size,
yeah,
and
but
that's the same thing that will hurt you
yeah,
in trying
eventually.
to recuperate from an Achilles injury. That makes
Yeah,
it even more.
I remember that when I had my shoulder injury, I remember asking the doctor, she's like, I was like, it's because of my size. She's like, so for nobody right now, we don't have any clues about why an Achilles fracture. I mean, he told me like I had a kid. He was like 16 years old. He was walking down the sidewalk. Boom, he Achilles ruptured.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really tough injury. It's a little bit it's really tough, especially when you guys doing that because our sport has both like running and both horizontal and vertical.
Right.
So especially yeah, of course your size also have an impact, but anybody can rupture his Achilles. And the thing is, right now that the sport is getting faster. You have to jump higher,
Yeah.
and you see a lot of those injuries. And hopefully, we're gonna catch up and have more preventive measures of, you know, I mean, usually, you have to work this so you don't get that.
Right.
So hopefully, we're gonna have to go to the point of you have to work your because
Yeah,
because
but like you said though, the Achilles tendon, there's no
yeah,
rhyme or reason to that
yeah.
injury. It just happens to anybody.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
is-
right now I heard it happened to Nikos Papas,
yeah.
and I was shocked. I was like, man, that was that's really bad luck. I mean,
Yeah.
but but eventually, because of that, I decided to retire. So I was
How's retirement, man?
actually when I was coming here to Corfu, um, our house here, I was talking with my wife, and she was telling me we have to do this, we have to do that when we get there. I said like, you mean I have to do it? She's like, yeah, but you have to do it. It's like so, and then suddenly I went silent, and she asked me like, why are you silent? What happened? I was like, I just had a realization. I mean, I just realized that I've been playing for 15 years. My first 15 years, my mother was telling me like what to do, when to do it, how to do it, where to
I
go. I was like,
I know
okay.
I know where this is going.
For 20 years playing ball, my coaches were telling me what to do, where to go. And now that I retired, I realize for the rest of my life, you're gonna tell me where to go, what to do. I was like, man, when I will get some freedom? I was like, it feels like you just realize it. You feel like you just realize that now.
Yeah, man.
It's like you're a little bit slow. I was like, man, wow.
We
But
we we get our freedom right in that moment when we can't really enjoy it anymore.
yeah, that's true. But I mean, I'm around the kids. Of
Right,
course, I decided the worst time to retire. Now we're in lockdown.
right.
Basically, there's nothing to do. But it's great. I mean, not great per se, but it's all right. I mean, I still got the bug. I still wanna,
Right.
play and everything. I mean, I had a long conversation with Nikola Vujicic and Theo Papaloukas about the whole retiring stuff, and they told me like eventually you're gonna start itching about playing a little bit, practicing, working out a little bit, but it will come in the future, not right now. So now just enjoy it.
Yeah. If you need any advice, you can talk to me about it too, because I went through a rough time. I went through a little bit of a rough time. Like my first year and a half was relatively easy, and I enjoyed it. And then it was like once I knew I couldn't go back is when it hit me, and I was like, and I went through a little bit of depression, and it was hard, man. It's not easy because this game is when you're an athlete, you don't just retire from the game, like you fade
Yeah,
away. It's very few people went out like Michael Jordan went out.
yeah,
Your agent stops getting phone calls. All of a sudden, your agent stops calling you, and you don't have the retirement party. With the cake and the
yeah,
watch, and they give you a watch. It's not like that, but.
that's
And that is
true.
something that I wanted to finish up with you is I saw the roundtable thing you did about the mental aspect of the game and mental depression and players going through depression. It's a crazy subject because I love that. I love the conversation you had because you talked about the fact that you had anxiety at times to go out and play in front of people. We talked about the fact that when you walk off the court, people saying things that get to your head. Nobody realizes that these ups and downs, this emotional roller coaster, is something that's difficult for players to
Yeah,
deal with, and like you guys said in that roundtable thing with the EuroLeague is people perceive this as a weakness, and it's not a weakness at all. It's just we're just normal people, and at the end of the day,
that's true. That's true. I mean, the mental part of the game. I mean, it's really tough, especially when you want to get that new talent, the new kid in the block that he can jump, shoot, run, and you want to support your team as fast as possible. You need to be able to support him mentally also. I mean,
right,
you need people around that they can make him understand that how things work and
right,
how things will develop. I mean, and how to keep his cool and how not get not every little thing try to get him because seriously now, I mean, nobody told me when I was 16 that suddenly I would walk in the court and 10,000 people were gonna start cursing my mother, and I
right,
was like,
exactly,
I mean, that was an experience right there. So
right,
I mean, the mental thing, the anxiety that can develop if they not prepare you mentally at an early age, and things that can manifest in completely different ways. I mean, for me, it happened in anxiety towards people. I mean, I'm never comfortable with people that I don't know. or people that I don't feel that they know where I'm coming from,
Right.
or and severe sleeping disorder close to my closing years. But and this is why I will say that if I had chance to work with the younger generation, I will take it. I will take it because I really don't want to, kids going through something like that. Um, but that's a future conversation, and right now I'm just enjoying my family life.
But before I go into the personality thing and the test that I have to do with you, my final question is
Yeah,
is if you can go back and do it all again, would you do it?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I would.
that's all that
Hope,
matters then.
hopefully, I will get more than one out of four, final four. So.
Yeah. Yeah, well, if I can go back and do it all again, I try to get a couple more Final Fours too. But I think in my case, I think if I could go back and do it all again, I would. I know there's things that I would do differently. You know what I mean,
I
along the
mean,
way.
if I had
And
the same
but that's part
knowledge,
of learning, isn't it? That's part of growing.
yeah, but if I had the same knowledge that I have now, not basketball knowledge or not, not different skills or whatever. I mean, if I just have the same knowledge and the same tools to that I have now to cope with different situations, yeah, I will do it again. I
Mm,
mean, I really didn't like the whole, anxiety and pressure that came with it.
right.
I mean, when I was younger, but as I got older and realized that I can deal with it, if I had those tools then, I would do it over. I would do it all over
Right.
again. Easy.
Was there ever a moment where you thought about walking away from the game beforehand?
Oh, yeah, a lot of times.
A lot of times,
Oh,
right?
yeah, a lot of times. Like, yeah, a lot of times. You like before you left the court, and you're like, man, enough of this shit. You stop. but you're like afterwards you drive. By the time you get home, you're like, or by the time you unload, you're calling your agent, and unload, and you're like, ah, man, this is what happened to me. You're like, okay. By the time you're home, you're like, yeah, I can do a little bit more.
There's so much behind the scenes that people don't see, man. It's crazy, but and that's the reason why we try to bring it out here in the crossover, man, just to let people know what we go through at times and what people are going through now. Let's get on to it, man. Let's get on to the last part of this thing, and I'll let you go hang out with the wife
Okay.
and do what I'm sure we in the states we call it a to-do list. You know what a honey list? You know what that is?
Yeah, I know what it is.
Yeah, well, I know that you might want to stay here a little bit longer, man, if that list is long.
What are you talking about? I mean, this is the first time I had like an hour to myself without the kids.
There you go. So I'm doing you a favor.
Right.
All right, let's get into personality part. You got a free round trip ticket to go anywhere in the world. What's your destination?
Wow. I will say Corfu.
That's where you're at right now.
Yeah, exactly. Man, it's
Look
so
at
quiet. I always have been able to show you so quiet, so peaceful.
hey, EuroLeague will even pay for that ticket. The last movie or series you watched?
Oh, wow. I watched a lot of things say at the same time. So, okay. The last movie I watched was Godzilla against King Kong versus King Kong.
What's that?
Godzilla versus King Kong.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the last movie I watched, and now I'm rewatching the series Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders. Is that good?
It's all right. I mean,
Alright.
I don't understand the whole hype all around it. But
All right, well, you just made up my mind. I'm not watching it.
I mean, there's hype around it. I mean, but it's enjoyable. I mean, I'm gonna say it's not. But
All right, this next question isn't directly at you. This is something I've asked every guest on our show, even Costas. You sit down at a table to eat and you can order anything in the world. Anything. What's your go-to meal?
wow, go-to meal. Oh, that's tough. You know something? I'm not really a restaurant guy. I mean, I really enjoy home cooked meals.
It could be a home cooked meal.
Okay, so well, my wife and her mother, they excel in spaghetti bolognese, so I'll go there.
There you go. Perfect. Childhood idol.
Childhood idol. Wow. Real one?
Yeah, like any idol you had growing up. Anybody you looked up to, basketball, whatever.
I can't say I really had a specific idol,
No.
but you know something? That's the thing, because for me growing up, I was already 15 and I was already playing ball. So
you were already people's idol at 15.
Yeah, so I was like, I mean, but I had I would say Tim Duncan, Shaquille O'Neal. Those were like, those are the guys that I looked up to. I mean, especially Tim Duncan. I love the way that he was always expressionless. He had no expression whatsoever, whatever happened. I mean,
just getting business done, getting work done.
Getting business done. I mean, I wish I had that mentality, that mental fortitude.
Right.
I wish I had that.
Pre-game superstitions when you play?
I really don't have many, but my wife noticed one time. She asked me, so like I said, I don't know why I do it. I mean, every time before a game, I say a little prayer, touch the floor, and then for some reason I touch both of my shoes. I don't know. I think something else underneath. I think hoping, not to get injured.
Mm-hmm.
I do that.
That's a superstition.
Yeah.
Tell me the one game that if you can go back in time and play, you would love to play again.
2011 against Panathinaikos. I would love to play that again and change a couple stuff.
All right. Your top 3 EuroLeague memories.
EuroLeague memories. Wow. 2014. Winning the EuroLeague, of course. Number one. The top ones. Wow. I would say 2011 against Panathinaikos. It was one of the top memories because that loss made me one of the way that I felt after the loss. It made me think I don't want to feel that again, so I want to win the next one.
Right.
And
I like that because the memories don't always have to be positive ones. They can be negative ones that made you a better player or person.
And third one, I would say, third one. Man, you messed me right now. It's tough.
Hey, these are the EuroLeague. These are EuroLeague questions. These aren't mine.
Yeah, so I would say the game against Milan in Tel Aviv, that I had my best game in there.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. You mentioned it already, but your plans when this is all over with? It is over for you now, so to speak, and you're retired. But what are your plans now? I mean, are you gonna go through and work out with the kids? You're gonna try to help them in different ways, or?
Right now, it's a little bit tough to map something up. But the thing is, like a friend of mine actually put it, is like the good thing is because the whole situation, the way the situation is, it's not like he's standing still and the whole world is moving on. I mean,
right.
everybody's standing still right now.
Right.
So when you decide to move, you better be certain. So it depends about where's an opening for me to be able to influence and have a positive influence and when it's the right time. I mean, I understand right now for the work that I want to do, I'm basically a rookie. So
right.
you know, it's tough. So
because of the situation too, it's nothing but plan it out, man. Now at least you have time to plan it out and be ready when things start moving again.
Yeah, I'll plan it out. I mean, I still got I got a sales number, calling them every time. He's like, man, what do you want now? Like, you retired, why you have to suffer? I was like, man, well, you took me under your wing when I was younger, so you suffered now.
Take my number down after. If you need any advice, hit me up too. I'll give you advice.
Of course.
All right, the hardest part of the crossover tournament, man, is the trivia question. These are the only real answers that you don't know. Okay. So we're gonna go 5 questions here. We're gonna go. Each question is worth an ascending amount of points. Question 1 worth 10, 2 worth 20, 3 34, 44, 5 50. All right.
What's the high score?
I think our high score is 90. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Costas. I'm not sure. My guy's got to like. One of you guys text me over here and let me know the high score as I'm doing this. But you might have a chance. I'm going to tell you might have a chance. We're going to start off with the 10-point question. Here we go. Who was the 2014 Final Four MVP in Milan?
Tyrese Rice.
There you go. See how easy it is? 10 points, man. No problem at all. Question number 2. Which team is FC Barcelona facing in this year, 2020-2021 playoffs?
Dude, I haven't seen any basketball this season. I really don't know. Wait a minute. Let me get it straight.
You got to at least guess one.
Okay, let me think. I mean, I've seen the standings like a couple games ago, so I think it will be a nice match, right?
Who?
So, I think it will be a nice group, right? A nice pair, right?
Mm-hmm. They played well this year.
I know Real wasn't doing really well this year. I really don't know. I would say Barcelona's first, right?
Yeah, Barcelona's first. So they're playing the 8th place team.
The 8th place team. I don't know. I'll say Fener.
No. Zenit St. Petersburg.
Man, I was thinking that too. I read because they won Panathinaikos, they went to the playoffs.
Panathinaikos went to play them in one of the last games, and they beat Panathinaikos to get to the playoffs. Exactly. All right, question number 3 with 30 points. Which was the last team that David Blatt coached before being appointed as the head coach of Maccabi Tel Aviv?
The last team?
The last team he coached before he was given the job at Maccabi Tel Aviv.
Okay, I know he coached national team in Russia. I know he coached
a domestic team.
Arlauckas.
There you go. Nice. 30 points, my man. That's a good one right there.
Okay.
That's a big one. So you got 40 altogether.
Okay.
Now
good.
the 40-point question. How many victories has Crvena Zvezda got in this regular season?
And victories.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, okay.
How many games have they won during the regular season?
I would say 21.
No. They're out of the playoffs. They only won 10.
Wow.
They only won 10 this year.
Wow, that's messed up.
And now for the 50-point, and I think you may be able to get this one. I haven't been very confident about people getting this 50-point question, but I think you may be able to pull this one off. Which was the exact point difference between FC Barcelona and Real Madrid in the 2013-2014
Oh, come on, man.
semifinal?
Come on, man. It was like what?
We talked about it during the interview, and I didn't say
I
it.
don't remember. Yeah. I know the beat him like no rock.
Yeah.
What, like 30 points, something like that?
Oh, 38. They beat him by 38.
All right. I need to call Costas and yell at him.
I think Costas is still leading. I'm not sure. No one sent me a text message to tell me any different. But hey, my man.
Okay.
I really appreciate the time. I really appreciate your openness, your honesty. I appreciate the fact that you took time away from the wife and kids for a minute to be with me and my listeners. And now
she's around listening.
Yeah, now get yourself in shape because she's gonna have you working over the next couple of years, man. So
Well, she was asking me like, when you gonna work out? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna work out eventually, but not right now.
go run.
I'm
Just
still
go
in my
run.
years.
She might have you running stairs pretty soon, man.
Nah. Come on, man. I was messed up. That was one of the messed up things ever.
Sofo, man, thanks so much for your time, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it too.
Great to talk to you and great to get to meet you.
Nice talking to you too.
Take care, my man.
You too. Bye.